All right, guys, Nathan Sprague here with Debt Freedom University, and we have arrived at stage one of the process where we're actually going to get into the nuts and the bolts of these strategies in this process and get into the meat and potatoes of making this work. So what you see here is our monthly personal budget file. So this is the master template for putting together your personal and or family monthly budget. So there should be a link below this video for you to be able to download this file. This is a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. You should be able to open it on, I think, any PC, whether you have Microsoft Office or not, as well as on a Mac device. I believe they have a spreadsheet program that's compatible with Excel. But if for whatever reason you're not able to open it, please contact us. I think there's a way we could probably put this in a Google Sheet as well, rather than a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So if you have any trouble accessing it, let us know. We'll get you the file so that you can access it in the right format one way or another. But once you do, open the file, you'll see that it's got data already populated into it. So this is just what I'll use for the sake of illustration and for example, but this is the first step in the process. So as I mentioned before, there's several critical phases to putting this process and methodology and strategies into action. And this is step one. We need to figure out how much money you've got coming in and how much money is going out on a monthly basis. So that's going to amount to narrowing down all of our income and breaking down all of our expenses and ultimately see where those dollars are going and what we've got left over. That'll be a starting point for putting together our plan of attack. So just to walk you through how the spreadsheet works, at the top here you can enter your name. So let's just say this is John Sample here. And then up top here, kind of the upper half of the spreadsheet. So basically everything I've highlighted here is nothing you should touch. So these graphs will auto-populate on the left and right, both showing income and expenses, and then this pie chart here on the left just shows kind of what percentage of your total income you're spending, on expenses, and then these numbers in the middle here kind of summarize results, so showing your total monthly income, your total monthly expenses, the total monthly free cash flow. That's highlighted in blue. That's going to be a critical number that we use in the next step of the process. And then calculating what I call a burn ratio. So how much of your monthly income are you spending? And in this case, in this example, that's 96.1%. But so anyway, you don't have to touch anything in this upper part of the spreadsheet. This will all auto-populate and auto-calculate. You're really going to be focused down below here on the itemized aspects of this between income on the left and expenses on the right. So let's dive into these and use some examples. Obviously, with your specific circumstance, these categories and these values may not be applicable to you. So you can change the names of any of these to whatever's applicable to you, and obviously enter the values that are applicable to you. If not all these apply, then you'll want to go through here and delete them or enter 0. But go through line by line and make sure these are applicable to you and enter your values. So let's start here on the left with income. As you can see here in this sample template, I've got the husband's job taking home $44.50 per month. That is a net amount. So these values need to be after tax. You need to know what you actually have available in the form of net take-home pay. So this is after tax income. The husband taking home $44.50 a month. The wife's job making $3,200 a month. And then I've input the wife's second job here just as an example of $650 per month. Now, again, you may have 6 streams of income. You may have 1 stream of income. Whatever the case may be, but enter whatever is applicable to you. Change the names of the category. Income for here. Let's say maybe you've got a rental income, and that's I don't know, $1,200 a month, and then you can add the mortgage and maintenance expenses over here on the right. But again, you can change these to match your situation. So that's income. On the right, you've got expenses. Just to kind of go through these, I tried to really list categories that should be applicable to hopefully the vast majority of individuals and families. If I left anything off, you can add lines here or change categories that don't apply to you, but hopefully this kind of covers most of everybody's categorical expenses here. So starting at the top, you've got the rent and or mortgage, which for this example is $1,460 per month. If it's a mortgage, make sure you're entering the total payment amount. So that would be principal, interest, plus any escrow amounts you're paying for homeowners insurance and real estate property tax, plus any extra payments you might be making. So the total amount that you're actually paying if that's a mortgage there, and then rent is obviously, enter the rent amount. Next line, we've got electricity, natural gas. I lumped water and trash together, TV and internet expenses, phone expense, groceries, car payments, gas and auto expenses. That's obviously your fuel, oil changes, any sort of routine maintenance. Credit card debt service, so that's the total of your credit card payments that you're making every month. As with the mortgage, enter the total amount you're actually paying. So if you're making extra payments on any of those, enter the amount that you're actually paying every month, the total amount. Below that, we've got insurance, so life insurance, disability insurance. Below that, we've got student loans in this example. Again, same goes for that. Make the total amount that you're actually paying, enter that in there. Fitness below that, so you've got a gym membership. Investments, that could be savings, Roth IRA, maybe you're putting money into your own brokerage account like Robinhood or M1 Finance or something like that every month. But that's categorized as investments here in this example. Below that, we've got auto and rental insurance. Obviously, if you've got a car, you likely have car insurance. If you're renting a place, you may have renter's insurance. Plug that in there. Personal care and toiletries, pretty self-explanatory there. Shampoo, toilet paper, deodorant, things like that. Entertainment, this could be a number of things. Maybe you go to the bar every weekend. Maybe you go to see movies. Maybe you have a golf club membership. Anything that could fall into that entertainment category. Below that, household expenses. Pretty self-explanatory there. Hopefully, cleaning supplies. If you make routine repairs to your house, spread that across. Take it an annual basis and divide that by 12 to give yourself a sense for what you're spending every month. Below that, we've got childcare expenses. Below that, we've got holiday and vacation fund. I think this is important to point out because I don't think a lot of people account for this in their monthly budget because it happens maybe only once a year or twice a year or something like that. But they don't really look at it as a monthly expense when in reality, if let's say you take one vacation every year that costs you $5,000, well, that's over $400 a month. And you really should be accounting for that. And same goes for holidays. And I guess I would include like birthdays in there as well. So Christmas presents, birthday presents, things like that. If you calculate that up, if you spend $1,000 a year worth of birthday presents and Christmas presents, spread that across 12 months, that's roughly $80 a month. You need to account for those things because those are real expenses. Below that, we've got personal property tax fund. That could be things like tax you pay on your car or maybe a boat or motorcycle or something like that you owe personal property tax on every year. Again, same applies as kind of the vacation and holiday fund there. Maybe that's $400 a year or $500 a year, whatever it might be. Spread that across 12 months to calculate the monthly average value there. And then I've got miscellaneous below that. That could be pet expenses. Maybe you've got a dog or cat that you buy food for every month, vet bills, things like that. Again, these are just kind of meant to be a blanket of categories that hopefully is applicable to most everyone, but again, feel free to delete these if you've got categories that don't apply to you, or if you've got categories that aren't listed here, swap them out for ones that do apply. You can add categories below here and obviously change out the values that are applicable to you. So very important that, you know, all of these categories and values are applicable to your specific circumstance. As for how to put these numbers together, if you don't have any sort of a budget yet, you know, the best way to do it is look at, you know, your bank account statements over the last couple of months, comb through those and figure out, you know, from an income standpoint, how much money you're making on average on a monthly net take-home pay standpoint, and then same goes for each category of expenses. Look at where you're spending money, look at what that's been over the past few months and average that out to get these values. So you're going to have to take some time to comb through your expenses, look at your bank statements, look at your credit cards if you put some expenses on credit cards, to really break down these monthly expenses and monthly income, because this is the cornerstone of the process. We have to figure out how much money is coming in, how much money is going out each and every month on average, so that we can have a starting point with how we're going to attack these debts. So and then if you already have a budget put together, I would just say you can use your own, but I would encourage you to put your data into this template, because the subsequent files, the other templates that it will give you and will reference and utilize, will kind of reference all the other sheets that I include here with the other templates. So I would encourage you to enter your data into this template and use these for the sake of this training and implementing this process. So again, this is the most important starting point, is to account for everything that you're typically spending across, we'll call it an annual basis, but spread across a monthly basis on average. We really need to know how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, and what's left over, if anything, because that's going to be the starting point for formulating our plan of attack. So that's all for now. We'll get into another video using the same template next. We'll talk about some other options. So hope you found this informative, and we'll see you in the next video.